Hey guys, how's it going? We're back at it again. Let me just go ahead and send out the Discord notification real quick. Nice. Let me just make... Hope you all are doing well. I'm doing pretty good. Let me just make sure we're live all the places we're supposed to be. Seems like it. All right. Let me just plug in my phone and go ahead and get started. I'm doing pretty well today. I hope you guys are all doing well. It is a Friday. Don't usually stream these days, but need to get some stuff done in P4. Usually this is something I just do off stream, but for the challenge I thought I'd do it on stream for once. We'll see how it goes. Gonna try and do some more of this stuff on stream, especially for this challenge run. So, you know, especially since we're tracking deaths and all that, so might do a couple of extra streams like this on Fridays. Not sure if the content today is going to be riveting, but it might be a bit, the stream might be a bit shorter anyway than usual, since we can only go so far today. Hey Jeppo, how's it going? Since the plan is to get ready to beat Yukiko Shadow, so we won't be doing that till tomorrow. That way if people are trying to follow along and everything, you know, they're not missing out on that stuff. GTA is delayed until next year. Oh well. Means I got more time to catch up on the series. Yeah, I've never played a GTA game. Would like to catch up on them at some point. I know. The only thing it really changes is it might change, like it might have ripple effects. Well, it probably will have ripple effects where any other like AAA games won't want to come out in like the same like few weeks after GTA comes out, because people will be buying that instead, you know. So there is that aspect of it, I suppose. What year are we on, Jeppo? Let me go ahead and get Persona 4 booted up a minute. Oh, did I put on the version of this with Lynn's sing? Oh, I wonder if that'll get caught by the DMCA stuff. It might. Well, we're gonna change over here anyway. I did see that. Yeah, that's a oh wow, look at what Nintendo is doing. We can do that too. That was definitely what that was. The $80 price point on their holiday lineup. Yeah, that was if Nintendo's doing it, we could do it too. We are living our lives. Oh well. Oh, let's do Game of the Year. We'll change it up instead of doing RPG. We can do Game of the Year. Yeah, I don't know. It's harder to check. Like, for example, on Twitch, I can see like when the first time somebody chatted. I think on YouTube you can check how long you've been following someone. Or like, you've been subscribed, I should say. But yeah, on Twitch you can see how much people talk. For example, here, Jeppo has been following since September 4th of 2021. And has over 999 messages. Yikes. We're starting with 1997. Ooh, all the way back there. Alright. If P4 Reload game comes out, would you want Marie in the game? I think so, just so that you have all the content. Because if it's going to try and be like a definitive version of the game, I think it just needs to be an improvement on P4 Golden. I do like this intro, Jeppo. I don't remember the Golden one as much. I think the Golden one has more of an emphasis on like the golden aspects of the game. So instead of like the base game, it's more about like the snow time outfits and stuff, if I remember correctly. This one's a lot snappier, I'll give it that for sure. But yeah, I mean, we'll eventually get a P4 reload game at this point. Seems pretty obvious. All right, I think this is the one we're on. Yep. I got beef with Nook from Animal Crossing. What, do you steal your bells or something? All right, so let's go level up Pixie. That is what today's stream is. We're just going to be leveling up Pixie. Going to be going until my SP runs out. We'll leave the dungeon probably, and then if neither of the party members want to hang out, we'll come back into the dungeon, and that'll be the end of stream for today. I think our best bet is actually to start working our way down the floors a minute, because we just teleported to the 5th floor, so there's probably quite a few treasure chests that we didn't get on like floors 1 through 4. So I think our best bet for right now is just like working our way down, and then if we still have SP left over, we can teleport back to the 5th floor and work our way back up again, and you just use a go home. What's the differences between 4 and Golden? Quite a few balance-wise. So, for one, Golden has a bunch of extra content. Golden added Marie, as well as the associated like time with her, so extended the ending of the game a bit longer. Obviously, it's in 16:9. It also added more stuff to do at nighttime. So, for example, like the bar and everything is different. It also rebalanced a lot of different aspects of the game. Most notably, shuffle time is more like a solitaire type game where you can take cards that give you like penalties, but let you grab more cards. Grabbing all the cards lets you guarantee shuffle time next time. The other thing, as well as a bunch of other balancing changes. A lot of party members were improved or like rebalanced to be better in Golden. Notably, the biggest notable ones being Naoto and I would say Rise, because Rise's bonuses for battle are non-existent here in this version of the game, whereas in Golden, her bonuses are huge. Hi Gopus, how's it going? FF7, The Sims, Age of Empires. I think I've played a little bit of Age of Empires. GoldenEye 007. If that's the N64 one, I've played a bit of that. I'm not a huge fan of it just because of controls and everything. The sequel to Myst, yeah. Quake 2. Parappa the Rapper. Blade Runner. I would probably say that Final Fantasy VII probably won, but maybe The Sims won over it. Who knows? I was playing OG Oblivion yesterday. Probably my favorite out of those is probably Final Fantasy VII, although I did like Age of Empires when I played it. Not my favorite RTS, but especially the original. I think the sequel is better. Oh, GoldenEye one? I guess that makes sense. TV licensed game. But yeah, how do you feel have you tried the new Oblivion like remaster thing then, Nash? And if so, how do you feel that holds up to the original? But yeah, there's quite a few differences between Persona 4 and Persona 4 Golden. Balance-wise, there's a good amount of content that was added. For example, manual skill inheritance and skill cards were added in Persona 4 Golden. In fact, I believe, if I'm not misremembering, the skill inheritance system as it currently exists first started in Persona 4 Golden.
okay?
Okay.
Throw down! Persona! Yosuke pounded an enemy. Persona!
Also, I found out that the reason why the resistances in this game are so cracked is because the resistances change on based off difficulty. So that's why we have an enemy type that has reflect physical in the first dungeon here. Okay. Yeah, it seems like the game is like the creation engine underneath, with like Unreal Engine doing like all the rendering and stuff, which is interesting.
5 enemies. Now's your chance. It's weak to ice. Beat it. Pixie.
1998, Half-Life, Grim Fandango, Banjo-Kazooie, Metal Gear Solid, Ocarina of Time, Star Wars Rogue Squadron, and Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri. Surprised to see Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri on there. Probably Metal Gear Solid 1. Of those, I'd like to play Half-Life at some point, but I haven't. Same with Metal Gear Solid. Ocarina of Time is actually, I think, the only one on that list that I've actually played. And even that was the 3DS version, not the original N64 version. I think I've heard of Grim Fandango, but... the graphics are blurry and it's 30 FPS, but it drops below it at times, so it's hard for me to play at least. Gotcha. So it's just like the original Oblivion. No, yeah. Even it sounds like, at least with original Oblivion, it would keep a consistent... Oh, 3 chess keys, that's very nice. It would keep a consistent frame rate, but it sounds like that one's not, so that's unfortunate. At least on your setup with the console that you have.
There are 2 enemies. Hang in there. Counting on you. Persona.
Okay, I had heard of Grim Fandango Christian, but I hadn't. I had a picture in my head of like what the main character looks like, but apart from that, not really anything else.
So who's next in line for us?
I actually own Psychonauts, like both the like PC port of it and the original Xbox version of it, I think, and I've not played either. I know I gotta get on that, but at some point, but. No, maybe just the PC port. Do I own the original Xbox version of it? I'm trying to think. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's Oddworld that I'm thinking of. That I own the original Xbox version of it. I think he also made Brutal Legend. Okay. There's a game I'd never be able to play on stream due to copyright, but does seem like a lot of fun.
Two enemies left.
1999 Age of Empires 2, that one I've definitely played. DK64, Pokemon Yellow, played that one. Soul Calibur, The Sims, and Unreal Tournament. I would probably have to guess that Pokemon Yellow one. I think I enjoyed Age of Empires 2 more than Pokemon Yellow is just iterative of Pokemon Blue and Red. And while it's got its own like interesting bits about it, I think I prefer the original versions a bit more. Nice. Sims 1, dang. Guess I should have guessed that. I always forget how popular stuff like The Sims are, just because I don't play those kind of games a lot.
It's tough.
Throw down. Persona. Yosuke pounded an enemy.
Persona.
Yeah, 2000 was also a big year. I already can tell you what my favorite one was. Should be Halo. Mm-hmm. I think there was a locked chest on the 7th floor. I'm trying to get up to that a minute while I'm killing enemies. Since we got the 3 keys out of that one chest, might as well go and see what we can get. It'd be great if it's another, like, dodge fire item or something. Yeah, I kind of did a little bit of something like that on New Game Plus with Light New Game Plus for one of the runs. I only used female demons because I thought that would be fun. It wasn't super like legit though because I had the bonuses from New Game Plus, or New Game Plus Lite, I suppose I should say. But it could be kind of fun to do that at some point. 2000, Skies of Arcadia, Majora's Mask, Final Fantasy 9, Diablo 2, Banjo 2, JSX, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Where's Halo? Isn't Halo 2000 or is that 2001? I don't know if I've ever played Skies of Arcadia. I think I've heard of it, but I've never played it. Oh, a bead, nice. Majora's Mask I've played. Final Fantasy 9 never played. Diablo 2 haven't played. Halo's 2001, my bad. And then Banjo Tooie, Deus Ex, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. If I had to guess which one won, my bad. I should know that. Yeah, because Macworld 2000 is when it was announced. 2001 is when it came out, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think, yeah, you guys are right, my bad. Well, I mean, Majora's Mask is the only one I think I've played there, so I'll have to say that one's my favorite. But I am definitely interested in playing Deus Ex and Skies of Arcadia at some point, I think. I guess FF9 too, but if I had to guess which one won, probably Deus. Oh, okay, Diablo 2 won. I was gonna say Deus Ex, so I wasn't gonna be on the money anyway.
Don't use ice attacks. Just stick with it. Counting on you. Persona. Damn, it's not going down. One enemy. Fight, fight, fight.
Yeah, no, I was literally playing Halo 3 ODST with a friend right before stream today. Yeah, 2001, Halo, Ico, Black and White, Civilization 3. What was Black and White? Because it's not Pokemon, because Pokemon Black and White was DS era. No, Null's physical. Like 2000 has stopped gaming because it's too expensive. Fair.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think there are cheaper options if you want to like be an enthusiast about it, like emulation and stuff. But I don't blame people for seeing like $80 on Mario Kart and being like, ew. Or seeing like Microsoft's planning on increasing all of its prices across the board and being like, ew. But yeah, 2001, definitely Halo is my favorite there. If I had to guess which one won, probably Halo. I don't think Ico did super well. The only other contender I could see is Civ 3. Halo 1, okay. Yeah. Ico's one of those games that everybody, like, who is into the PS2 era really, like, talks about sometimes, but, like, one of those kind of hidden gem games, so I didn't think it won for the one of the Normie Awards. Today, at least, yeah. Been doing worse on these than I did on the RPG ones.
Someone else's turn.
A little harder for me to gauge what people overall pick versus RPG fans pick, I guess.
Couldn't quite beat it.
Like, not only Mario Kart, but now even the console price for the Xbox. I feel like Nintendo says a new age, and I want to be a part of it. Yeah, I mean, they were just the first ones who were willing to put a toe out. The way that the only lasting notable impact Skull and Bones will have had on the industry is being one of the first games to be $70.
Yikes! Reinforcements! We were
That's true. That's true. But I don't blame people for not just looking at it at a surface level and being like, yeah, I'll just stick with either what I've got now or just like not gonna get into it at all. I don't know. It's also kind of hard to know where to start nowadays, because there's a lot of video games that assume some level of knowledge
Couldn't quite beat it.
on behalf of the player. So I feel like it's one of those hobbies that it helps a lot to have somebody who already is into the hobby, like point you in the right direction or figure out what you got, or like make recommendations. But yeah, I think more than anything though, it's just like, if you're looking at the AAA stuff, it's a lot of like live service games, a lot of expensive games, a lot of microtransactions. But if you look at like AA stuff or like indie stuff, I think you have a lot more interesting options. But that's not what most people are going to see in advertising and stuff, right? So it's more of an enthusiast level of stuff. So like, you're probably in the hobby already if you know about different things. The only thing that maybe could pierce that is like some AA studio stuff, like Baldur's Gate 3 or the recent Expedition 33, which has been getting really good reviews. Both those came out of like studios, but like not huge studios, you know? So 2002 we have Battlefield 1942, GTA Vice City, Metroid Prime, Ratchet and Clank, Animal Crossing. The only one of those I think I've played is Metroid Prime. I'd like to play Ratchet and Clank. I thought about playing that this year on stream, actually trying that out. Animal Crossing is kind of interesting, but I feel like it's one of those games I'd play for like a few hours and wouldn't want to put all the time into. I'd rather play other like life sim farming kind of games, you know? Like more like the Harvest Moon stuff would be more my speed. GTA Vice City I've never played, but I'd like to at some point. I'm gonna guess GTA Vice City 1 overall though. I hear a lot of good things about that one. And GTA tends to win when it goes up for Game of the Year nominees. Yeah, I don't know. I think that the gaming industry is kind of in the middle of like a shift away from like the big budget titles as much. It just hasn't like trickled down yet. I think it's gonna still be a little while before like it fully happens, but I think there's definitely gonna be a shift away from like huge big like projects that if they fail it's like the end of the company, you know, or like a huge blow to the company. They're gonna like be a bit smaller, be a bit more experimental, hopefully, and make projects that are a little bit smaller and more focused on like certain demographics. I think more and more the idea that you can make a video game that appeals to everyone, or even like 50% of like the gaming audience, becomes less and less of an option the more popular the hobby just becomes, just by number wise, you know, because there's like less overlap and there's more different groups to appeal to. Yeah, that's true. I remember doing that a lot for the Wii games that I played as a kid. Christian, some pretty good ones there. Surprised that Battlefield won over GTA there. Although I have heard that 1942 is one of the ones that people like more than some of the other ones. Like one of the classics for Battlefield. Hi Lorenzo, how's it going?
That took forever.
Chained one physical mirror. Heyo. If we could get some more of those, we could deal with the Yukiko extra boss fight pretty easily. That Rampage King that shows up after you beat Yukiko's shadow here. Getting a few of those mirrors will make that thing super easy. Top 3 gaming crushes and why? Yosuke
pounded an enemy.
First one that comes to mind is probably the main lead from female lead from The World Ends With You. I'm struggling to remember names just because I'm bad with names. Is it Shiki? I think it's Shiki, right? She's got a very cute design and everything, and her story is pretty interesting. Apart from that, I don't know. Samus is really hot when she's not wearing her armor. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And then one more, huh? Yeah, probably Cortana. Yeah. Some good options there. I don't know. I don't usually think about that kind of stuff too much. Shiki's the only one that really came to mind when you said that, so.
Go, Sensei! All right.
The other two I think are like visually attractive, but and I like their characters, but apart from that, you know.
3 more enemies. Grin and bear it.
I don't know. I guess I just think of them as more of as characters than anything else, you know.
3 enemies. Let's get through this. Let's do this, Jiraiya. 2 enemies left.
I'm not usually one to get like super emotionally invested and that kind of stuff. So, 2 crits and a miss. The highs are high, the lows are low.
Don't think, feel.
Okay. Why does every JRPG need a mascot character? Not every, but like, especially nowadays, it helps a lot with making merch. And it can be something that like fans can rally around and stuff, and like people like cute things. It also helps like with the female demographic. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say there's not a lot of girls watching right now, but for girls, like having a cute mascot character can be kind of nice. So I don't know. I just think of when thinking of that, I'm just thinking of like I'm thinking of the Chocobo from the Final Fantasy series. That's a mascot character that transcends like 10, 20 years, you know? Chocobos have been in those games from almost the beginning, and they're still like an icon of the series. Which is really important, I think, for Final Fantasy. Stuff like that, the like giant cactus enemy, the Cactar and stuff, are important because every Final Fantasy game kind of stands on its own as its own like separate experience. So you don't have like that, you know, one central character otherwise.
One enemy. You can do it. Throw down. It's another enemy. Show it what you got. Sorry. Okay, let's go.
Have any of you guys ever played Chocobo Mystery Dungeon? Oh, another physical mirror. Nice. It's kind of like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I think it's made by the same team, but obviously it's for like with Chocobo and stuff. I want to really play. I really enjoy the Mystery Dungeon game, so I really want to play that at some point. I think it's on like the PS1 or something. Yeah, there's also Moogles, I guess. Yeah, for Final Fantasy. Dragon Quest has a Slime, Mega 10 has Jack Frost, Pokemon's Pikachu, Xenoblade is Nippons. Yeah, having something that's like got a relatively simple design, that's like cute, and can be used as like a mascot or something for a game series is very valuable for a company nowadays. It feels like.
I smell one enemy. You can do it. Counting on you. Persona. Ah, that took forever.
Also, mascot culture is a lot bigger in Japan than it is here in the States, I think. Because like all those examples you gave, Christian, are from like JRPGs and stuff, right?
Careful.
It's not like Expedition 33 has a, you know, mascot character per se.
Woohoo! Chie-chan! That's one. Good work, Sensei.
Not sure exactly why that is, but I know that is a thing where, like, you know,
Counting on you.
having a mascot or like a central character to rally around is a lot bigger of a thing in Japan. Like, isn't there like a Pokemon cafe where you can like go and eat like Pokemon related dishes, and like occasionally like Chef Pikachu and his like giant mascot outfit will come out and like interact with the guests and stuff?
I smell 3 enemies. Don't get careless.
Why can't the mascot character be emotional support animals like Parmaru or Pascal?
Pounded
When
an
they talk,
enemy.
it's the worst.
Persona!
I mean, they are in some cases. Like, Jack Frost doesn't exactly talk a lot, you know? Like, except for a couple games where he's like a playable character or something, right? Still one of my biggest regrets that I didn't get him as a party member in Devil Survivor. Might be worth replaying that game just for that at some point.
Escape.
Pascal?
Pounded an enemy.
Yeah, I think it's with the dog in like SMT1. It's like your childhood dog.
So who
Turns
is
into a
next in
demon.
line for
You can like
Pokemon?
carry it throughout the game, I think. Lorenzo would have to double check that for me because I haven't actually played SMT1 yet. Oh, armor. I think that's something we can't, or like isn't better than what I have on though. Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's better like, well, actually, it does give the HP boost, and it gives a evasion boost. Yeah, I think it actually is better. Okay, wear that then on the MC. Yeah, he's blue. That's why there's an emote in the Discord that's like the Doge emote, but it's blue. It's called Pascal. Pascal becomes Cerberus either by fusing it or not. Fusing it becomes a strong ally early when you're not doing so, just separates from you in the expanse. Not doing so just separates from you. Okay. Yeah. It's kind of a cool idea, you know. Like, what if your childhood dog could become like a demon dog, demon Cerberus dog or something?
There are 3
That's fun.
enemies. Careful.
There's a manga I'm reading where
2 to go. We can do this.
monsters overrun the world, and
Woohoo! Chie-chan.
the main character has a
That's
Shiba
one.
Inu that like becomes like a kind of like a shadow hound or whatever. Can like make copies of itself go and like into people's shadows, stuff like that. It's fun.
That should do it.
What are you talking about? Cute is justice. Dogs are cute. Therefore, it should be a law option to always keep your dog. Obviously. How judgmental of the game to say that keeping your dog is like a chaos choice. Chaos all the way, baby. Think I'm gonna abandon my dog instead of like turning it into Cerberus? You're crazy.
I smell 3 enemies. Don't get careless.
Getting a little low on SP. Unfortunately, Chia can't heal, so. But should be enough to get Pixie fairly high level at this point. Yeah, we'll go ahead and leave here probably pretty soon. Again, I don't know how long today's stream is going to be. It might be an hour, it might be 2. Probably won't be super long, because we're not going to do the boss today. We'll do that tomorrow, so. No guarantees on how long this is. It's just as long as it is, you know?
I smell 2 enemies. Beat them up. Yosuke, pounded an enemy.
It's gonna be Cerberus regardless because of story reasons. It became the guard dog of Tokyo's Destiny Land and doesn't recognize you until you feed him a golden apple. That's kind of cool. Ah, unfortunate.
How dare you?
Unfortunate. Oh, nice.
1 enemy.
A game where enemies actually have SP. I think that's also one other thing is they stopped keeping track of SP on enemies in Golden, but here in Vanilla P4 you still have like enemies actually have an amount of SP, so you can actually drain it or they can run out. That's also in D3 Fez. How's it going, Alex? Oh, there's a Snuff Soul. We could use that to extend our run. It's probably not worth it. Probably should just hold on to it for when we actually need it. Because how's Pixie's level doing? Level 7. Okay. Getting there. Levels up one more time, it'll get Trefuri, which is its last skill that it learns just by leveling up. And it'll have a full 8 skills, which is nice. So, probably try and get that at much at least.
There's only 1 enemy. Go for a first strike. Let's do this, Jiraiya. That should do it.
Yeah. Yeah, the older SMT games, it seems like they wanted to keep track of, like, how much SP an enemy has, but, I think they phased that out eventually. There were too many, there was too many situations where either it was, like, didn't matter at all, or people could, like, abuse it, so. Now, for the most part, enemies just have infinite SP. Or functionally infinite SP.
3 enemies. Don't get careless. Counting on you. Persona. 2 enemies left. Woohoo, Chie-chan. That's 1. Throw down. That should do it.
Yeah, the bad thing about running out of SP is like, one of the other bad things is like we can't go to higher levels to grind because there are literally some enemies in this dungeon that reflect physical, so yeah. I suppose. I know. I don't know if it's a necessary element of combat, I'll say that. Because then you'd have to balance random enemies differently. Taking into account that they have limited SP or not. Yeah, apparently, Lorenzo, this game does something interesting where it actually changes resistances of enemies based off what difficulty. So part of the reason why we have a reflect physical here in the first dungeon is because of the difficulty I chose. So I'll have to keep that in mind with the wiki and everything. Not sure how accurate the wiki is when it comes to different difficulties.
Yosuke pounded an enemy. Woohoo! Chie-chan! That's one!
Canon romance for P4 and P4 Golden?
Amazing, Sensei!
For P4 Golden, I feel like they really try and push you into Marie, although I'm not a super big fan of Marie personally. Otherwise, Chie or Yukiko are good choices. Probably Yukiko if I had to guess. Naoto and Kanji shipping seems to be canonical, even in like spin-off games like the fighting games and the Persona Q games.
I smell 3 enemies. Don't get careless.
Oh yeah, there's also Rise. I guess that's a good option. I just don't usually romance her. In fact, yeah, apart from like maybe getting an achievement, I don't think I ever have.
I guess that does it.
Yeah, good for Yosuke, man. It's too bad that none of our best friends can ever have a girlfriend again after P3 because they all have to have their progression tied to hanging out with them in terms of like evolving their persona, and also, you know, they can't date anybody in the party because they have to be reserved for the MC, so he gets the better robot. That's debatable. I guess I didn't say I guess at all when it said to like when you asked about video game crushes, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't really think about it that way. I mostly said girls who I found physically attractive. And I guess isn't like
You get to go first.
not cute, it's just, I don't know. It's a toaster, man.
That was easy.
This manga you said you read does have very Pascal cool. It says something by nature, well, visually speaking. Yeah, I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head. I'd have to like dig out my app and like go through like a few things. Chi X Yukiko? Maybe. I think that more so that more than anything, Yukiko just wanted anybody to save her. But it's not like uncommon, just like Naruto, right? It's not uncommon for there to be a princely type character. Naruto's a pretty good example of like when she's dressing as a boy, like the girls are kind of like fawning over her as like a handsome boy and stuff, so it's not like Yuri is impossible or anything with the Japanese games. I don't know, I just see them as more good friends than anything else. I feel like maybe you can make a case for Yuri, but like I don't really see it personally. At least Junpei got Chidori, yeah. Back when male plot progression was, or like character progression was tied to the plot instead of the hanging out. Same with the other characters too, though. Yeah, that's like one kind of like downside is now that they've made every character's like progression as a character tied entirely to hanging out with the MC for the most part, for like evolving their persona and a lot of stuff. Like there's not like a moment in the plot where like, I don't know, Yosuke realizes a truth about himself and like evolves his persona. It's like, oh, you hang out with Yosuke like 10 times and he like evolves his persona, you know? At least people ship An and Ryuji, or at least or An and Shiho. I don't understand the An and Shiho thing, because while I like Shiho, she's not on screen too much. There's not a lot there, you know? There's not a lot to work with. Although I guess maybe that's why people like, you know, she's kind of a blank slate for the most part, so people can like project onto her or like come up with ideas of what she's like or whatever. But she like, you know, she's not even in the same school after like the incident and stuff, and you only see her like a few times. So Joker and Akechi, yeah, that's just people on Tumblr who really love their toxic yaoi relationships, man. Like, you can't tell me that that would not be a toxic relationship. It's just people who like that kind of stuff, which is fine, whatever. I just don't think you can make a case as like canonical.
Woohoo! Go, go! That's one!
I guess that does it.
Yeah, when I said that, Lorenzo, I was kind of wondering if that manga kind of like somebody who's working on it or wrote it had played SMT1 before. There's a decent chance of that. What do we think is Joker's canon romance? Well, so the thing is, like with P3, there was a time where the dating mechanics weren't present in the during the writing of its story, and so I think there's a pretty good case to be made that either Aigis or Yukari are the canonical love interest for the MC, or at least that's the way the game wants you to go. Because there was a time where you couldn't date anybody, and so like, you know, you have the beach scene with Yukari, you have the whole like I guess being like, oh, you are my fated one kind of thing going on with with the MC. But you don't really have too much of that going on with any of the other games, I would say. Like the re-releases of the games like Golden and Royal add a new girl that like they want the character or the main player, they want the player to like, right? Golden adds Marie, Royal adds Kasumi, Sumeri. But there's not like a quote-unquote canonical love interest, I would say. That being said, if I had to think about it, I don't know, it's a little hard to say because like, do you say that somebody inside the party, outside of the party?
You can attack before them. Damn, it's not going down. Two enemies, charge through them.
Take this! Couldn't quite beat it.
Persona! Yosuke pounded an enemy.
I don't know. I don't feel any particular strong way about any of the girls in P5, to be honest with you. There's a few I think are a little odd for high schooler to be hanging out with, but apart from that,
Yikes! Reinforcements!
yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Because at least with P4, I can kind of narrow it down where with a Naoto, it's like she's very heavily shipped with with someone else, even in like spin-off games and stuff. But you don't have quite the same thing going on with P5, so it's a little harder to narrow it down.
3 enemy reinforcements!
And also, like, we're talking about whoever suits what is basically a blank canvas. Because, like, while I would say P3, P4, and P5 personas all have their own, like, quirks and stuff, and they do have some amount of, like, personality, I wouldn't say it's, like, a huge amount, you know? They're still blank slates meant to be inhabited by the character. For the most part. By definition, they are kind of, you know, blank, empty slates of, you know, the Fool Archon and everything. Maraki and Rumi? Sorry, who's Rumi again? Rumi is his girlfriend, right? I mean, that's just, like, the game being like, yeah, those two were together. Not sure what you mean there. Yeah, I mean, that's just, like, literally canonical. Like, yeah, they are in a relationship. That's like saying that Futaba's mom and Sojiro, yes, they were kind of, well, I don't know, they were in some sort of a relationship. it wasn't clear what kind of relationship, but they were in some kind of relationship. Enough for where he felt obligated to take in Futaba as his daughter after she passed away. I think these guys are weak to ice, right? Yeah, they are. Okay. Just do a normal attack.
That's some thick skin.
And then
Take 'em out
Mabufu.
one by one.
So who's next in line for a stomping?
Amazing,
Oh, nice.
Sensei.
MC leveled up to level 17. Useful. P3. What about P3? I'm not sure what the question is. All you said is P3. I don't have a lot to go off of with that. Would you like me to talk about P3 for the next hour? I probably could find a way or something to talk about for the next hour for P3.
For a first strike. Just one
You
enemy
could consider Elizabeth as a potential canon in romance name with Mitsuru. Oh, I wouldn't say Mitsuru at all. If anything, I would say probably the canonical canon romance that the game wants you to go for is Yukari, given the beach scene and everything. Past that, you have Aigis,
left. Throw down.
and then maybe Elizabeth?
Throw down. Persona.
But no, I definitely think that
That's my
Yukari was the original, like, canonical love interest. Then maybe Aigis, because they didn't add Aigis as a social link until P3 Fez. Like, that's the, like, one substantial change that I'm aware of from P3 to P3 Fez is Aigis. Then they added, you know, some more personas and stuff, but... And then, like, I guess they added the... some more games to the, arcade, which is substantial from a gameplay perspective, but isn't substantial from, like, a content perspective. Because the games that, like, let you raise your social stats at the arcade by spending a good chunk of money weren't in the original version of P3. They were only in P3 Fez. Which does help a lot with raising social stats, but isn't, like, a huge, like, canonical change. For Femc, well, we can narrow it down a little bit, because it wouldn't be Ken, and it wouldn't be Junpei, right? Because Junpei is already committed to Chidori, and Ken's too young, and having him trying to date him is weird. Probably Shinjiro, yeah, since you can, you know, stop Shinjiro from literally dying by, I don't know, macking him on the lips, I guess. The power of a kissing. That's true, Alex. That's true.
That went well.
I just think that from a writing standpoint, they definitely intended Yukari in the original P3 to be the canonical love interest. Because, like I said, there was a time in the game's development where there was no, like, dating elements, and even then, like, I think the beach scene and stuff with Yukari was already in the game. So I think that Yukari was intended to be, like, the canonical love interest for the player. Also, there's the fact of, like, if you every single manga, anime, everything ever, look at which girl is introduced first. No matter who it is, no matter what it is, whichever the, like, girl is introduced first, like, is always the main love interest. I don't care how many girls show up later. Whichever girl as, like, a possible candidate is introduced first is always, like, the one they go with. And there's, like, narrative and, like, writing reasons why that is, but, like, that's always the case. And you may remember that Yukari is, like, one of the first characters you meet. Like, even Junpei is, like, the second party member you meet, right? She's also there, like,
Really hurting. Heal her.
when you wake up after, like, getting knocked out, and she, like, talks about her parents and how she feels like kind of something in common with you, and, like, you have the beach scene and all that kind of stuff. I think that is very obvious to me, at least, that Yukari was definitely intended, at least, to be the canonical of interest by the devs, at least at first. I think maybe some of the side games leads a little bit more into Elizabeth, like being really into the MC, but that's like retroactively after the main game is already done, and it's done by different authors and stuff. So yeah, that's my opinion on the subject anyway. I have whatever headcanon you want or whatever, but I think that's kind of how things play it out, meta wise. Nice.
Scored a critical hit. Yosuke pounded an enemy.
Yep, pretty much, Christian.
Chien-chan, that's one.
I think they also didn't. I don't know if they know how popular Aigis would be, because like they didn't give her a social link until P3 Fez. So maybe they realized how important or interesting or like how much people liked her more than Yukari, and that's why they picked her to be the playable character for the answer. Because you could technically swap the roles of Aigis and Yukari and maybe make it work or whatever, like if you really wanted to. But yeah, there's a reason why Aigis is the protagonist of the answer, not Yukari, that's for sure. All right, I think now is a good time to leave the dungeon. Let me use a go home a minute. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna continue with that plot line with Elizabeth, to be honest, anymore, Alex. I really feel like they're probably not going to continue that overall plot line of Elizabeth trying to get the MC back. Unfortunately, I feel like that's probably something that's been dropped. Let me just save here just in case. Yeah. Would have been nice to be able to beat the Yukiko boss fight in like 2 days, but I guess it'll be 3 days. Oh well. For being on the hardest difficulty, the original version of P4, and the added challenge, I think we're doing fine. Yeah, because for one thing, they haven't brought it up at all in any of P5's side games. I think that's the biggest like nail in the coffin for that side story. One, we never got like a P5 arena, right? Where like the same authors came and like could continue that plot line or that story thread, and was never mentioned in any of the P5 spin-off games. High school students have club activities. The teacher told us about them today. Plus, if they brought up that plotline now, like so far away from P4 Arena's release, a lot of people would have forgotten about it or never had seen any of it. Okay, can't study because we were in the went to the dungeon. Yo. Oh hey, came up with an idea I've been meaning to ask you about. We're about to enter this TV now. Have you ever tried sticking your hand into a TV when something's on? Like, have you ever touched a TV when the Midnight Channel was on? I did try it, actually. You tried it out already? Oh, no, that's our leader. But I see. So you can't just go to the same place that's on the screen. I love... Okay, so you see the bag that girl is holding, the white bag next to Yosuke's head portrait? It says Bapidas, and it's very obviously off-brand Adidas with the like bar logo and everything and the black and white background. I don't know, that's like one of my more favorite instances of like getting around copyright I've seen in the Persona series. Bapidas or something. So my plan to jump right to where Yukiko-san is while she's on the screen won't work then. I thought it might work if there was a direct connection between what's on the TV and where you end up. But then again, it makes sense that it doesn't work that way. Different TVs are connected to different places, but everybody can watch the Midnight Channel. That's kind of a contradiction, isn't it? I guess there's no other way to there's no other way but through the castle, no matter how many dangerous that may be. Still, I'm sure Yukiko-san is a lot more pain than we are. Can't complain about stuff like this. Yeah. At this point, I think people are tired of P5 spin-offs anyway. I think it would have been good, like, if it had come out around the same time that, like, Strikers did, or in, like, the last couple of years, but... Is P4 really anime Scooby-Doo? Yeah, in some ways. It's not as silly as, like, OG Scooby-Doo, but you definitely have, like, a murder mystery plot going on the whole time. Alright. I always forget about this dude. Like, imagine just having an English teacher. Let's see if I can... Hold on. Let me just quick save just in case, but I think I know how to spell millennium without my phone. I think it's this one, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Okay. But yeah, imagine having an English teacher that has like a puppet on his hand of himself. That's so weird. Like actual basket case. Nice. All right. Classes have ended for today. The fog will come after several days of rain. You must prepare. Yep. Let me just double check that nobody wants to hang out. And by nobody, I mean our party members. I don't think they will, but it is 420. It also means that we can get our first book. So... yeah, some people wanted me to beat Yukiko on 420 because apparently the voice actress for Yukiko has a channel where she's smoked weed before. So I guess they're gonna get their wish because we are gonna head to the dungeon. Oh, can we actually hang out with Yosuke today though? Looks like it. Oh. So somebody might not get their wish then, because if we can, we're gonna hang out with Yosuke. Sorry, not sorry, but like, a chance that we can, I'd like to hang out with Yosuke. Yeah, you can, but like getting the party member socially stunned is like the most important in P4, just in general, and especially in this challenge. Yosuke more than anything, because Pixie is a magician persona, so every time we make a new Pixie, she's gonna get more XP if we hang out with Yosuke. Okay. But for the moment, there's a few things I'd like to do. Some errands we have to do. I don't know, should we hang out with Yosuke or should we go just to go into the dungeon? Because we could always start hanging out with him after we save Yukiko as well. Well, one thing at a time, I suppose. Okay. New sword. Okay. Poison kunai. Kevlar vest. Charm robe. Okay. I think we can sell anything we're not wearing for the most part, except for maybe this. Yeah, except for the combat dress. Yeah, I think for the men we're fine on armor, but what about Chie? This would be better Yeah, this would be better. And then armor, weapons, 5 iron. Is it worth buying for the MC though? Because his physical attack isn't exactly his best attribute. It is for Yosuke and Chie though. Low odds of poison. If only I had more idea paper, I might be able to make a new kind of accessory. Okay. Do we have any accessories that we'd like to buy for anybody? I think everybody's wearing an accessory. Yosuke could be wearing something else though. Strength, magic, luck. I don't know. I guess just increase endurance by 1 wouldn't be bad for Yosuke. Make him take a little bit less damage. It's not like he's weak to ice, so he doesn't need to wear that. Alright. Have a good amount of money left over. Let's go see if they restock the vending machines with SP items. Nope. Okay. Looks like they haven't restocked them yet. I think it's like once a week or whatever, so. Books should be available though. Yep. Now we have our first book, which is nice. So we can take some time and read that when we can. I don't know. Do we hang out with Yosuke or do we just head back into the dungeon? Either way, let me go ahead and make a save here a minute. Would be kind of fun to hang out with Yosuke a minute. What's the deadline? I'd have to look it up exactly. Oh yeah, let me check something real quick. Let me check my notes for notable because I wrote down a bunch of notable fusion forecasts. So days where like you get bonuses for fusing this and that. There it is. No, the first one's on 5-1. Fusing Jack Frost gives him resist fire and random extra stats. And that would have been nice earlier. I think the deadline's before that. Because that would solve our problem. Because I can't get resist ice on, or resist fire on Pixie right now. Which is like one of our main problems for trying to fight our first boss, which has fire attacks. And Pixie being weak to fire, so. Persona 4 deadlines. Let's see, the first one is April 29th. Yeah, so we've got like a little over a week. Okay, so the Jack Frost thing is after the deadline anyway. All right. Yeah. I mean, we have time. Like, I think whenever we go to the dungeon next, we'll be able to beat Yukiko Shadow, to be honest. Maybe not, but like, I kind of doubt it. Like, oh, what level is everybody? 17. Yeah. And then Pixie's level 8. That should give us enough. We were pretty close, like, the last few times we attempted it. So I think having leveled up a little bit more should be able to beat Shadow Yukiko. Let's fuse away our random personas so we can make some more room for new ones. Yeah, we're all full up, so. Okay. The Kaiju would be good to pass down. Other than that, I don't have any too much I'd like to pass down. Or I need to pass down or anything. On to Titan here. Oh wait, it's a physical. So yeah, I can learn Dekaj, I think. Okay, whatever. Evil touch, fear in one foe, whatever. Yeah. Alright. Okay. Yeah, I guess I haven't really come to a decision about Yosuke or not, huh? Let me double check something. Does, let me see here. When does Chie become available? Does she become available right after we rescue Yukiko, or right after Yukiko like wakes up and stuff, like after the next deadline? Let me see. Persona 4. I should have this written down somewhere. Otherwise I could Google it, I suppose. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so she's available as soon as we rescue Yukiko. And she's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And then Yosuke is Monday and then Thursday through Saturday usually. Strange. Why is he available now though? Not sure on that. Was he available? He had a thing over his head. Let me try talking to him a minute and see if he's even available. It looked like he was. I guess I'm worrying about it too much. It doesn't matter too much one way or another. The only thing is, I guess, the question of like, it would only matter if we weren't able to hang out with him like tomorrow if we do Yukiko today.
Yo!
Oh yeah, the motion blur has been something.
See you later.
Like, that's some heavy motion blur on this. I don't know. What is the optimal decision? I don't think there is an optimal decision, because one way or another we have to, you know, we have to hang out with Yosuke at some point, and we also have to save Yukiko at some point. I guess the best decision would honestly be heading back into Yukiko's dungeon a minute, because on the off chance that like this strategy just isn't enough and I have to come up with something else, it'd be good to know that now rather than later. So I think just getting Yukiko done now would be better to do sooner rather than later. Because if I wait, like, that's like one less day that I have to like either level up or figure out something else. Because if I can't beat Yukiko before like Yukiko's Shadow before the deadline, then we're just like like that just kills the run. Obviously we have to start over, which would suck. I'd have to find a different way to do it. Oh, by the way, you want to know something else that's added in Golden? Great vegetables. There is no farming in this version of the game, so I was planning on buying the drinks that give SP until we got access to farming. There is no farming in this version of the game. Like, usually, even at the start of the game, the lady who sells the seeds will hang out here, and you can buy, like, the tomatoes or, like, whatever from her, and, like, some other random stuff, until she starts selling the seeds. But we don't even have that. And it seems like it was added in Golden, so, yep. No great vegetables, no Soma SP watermelons, no tiny soul tomatoes, no, none of that. None of that. Gosh, that's like a pretty big blow, honestly. Like, not having access to gardening is like a huge detriment in the late game, because like I said, the watermelons are Somas. They're a full SP and HP restore. They take like 4 or 5 days to grow, but like you can get quite a few of them, especially in the late game if you like power through it. But oh well, is what it is, I suppose. All right, I guess let's just head back over to Yukiko's castle a minute, and I'll go ahead and work our way back up to like right before the boss fight at that save point, and then we'll call it for today, and then we'll do the boss fight tomorrow. Yeah. No trips to the beach or Okinawa. Free roam. No going to the hot springs or whatever with your party members to relearn relearn skills or get new skills or improve Rise's all-out attack bonus. P6 probably will. I do think it's a good side activity to have. Yeah. Okay. Let's do. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that Golden adds in terms of things to do, so. I think we talked about this before, Lorenzo, but basically, I think that guy kind of knows what's going on if you talk to him, especially in the late game, and he kind of implies that he kind of knows what's going on a little bit. So yeah, I honestly thought that P4 would happen, like a P4 remake would have to happen after P6, but whatever the order is, both are gonna happen eventually. Yeah, it's a very different game. I'm interested to get into the actual like social links and stuff, hopefully here. I don't know if it's a very different game. It feels very different at least. Like very differently balanced. Some of the visuals are fairly different. Some of that good old PS2 fog, both in terms of aesthetics and also like, you know, graphical limitations and all that. Yeah, it definitely feels a lot closer to the P3 Fez in some ways than Golden does, which makes sense, but it's just more obvious to me when I'm playing like P3 Fez like literally yesterday, and then I'm playing P4, the original P4 today, you know? It's like, oh yeah, these are the same like games in the same series that were made like within a year or two of each other. Whereas Golden feels very different than P3 Fez in a lot of ways. For the better, for the most part. I think most of the things that Golden adds are pretty good. The visuals are like you can take it or leave it, I think, but a lot of the gameplay changes were pretty nice. Gameplay challenges. Nah, I guess it is.
That's some thick skin.
Not much of a challenge with Golden. I used to live in a place that had a store called Dick's Meat Market. I don't know. I just thought of that when Lorenzo was talking about Dick's Sporting Goods. I was like, oh yeah, there was a Dick's Meat Market. So funny that that used to be like a standardized nickname at one point in the United States was Dick. Or you would like call like a detective like Dick Gumshoe, you know? I don't know. Maybe that may have just been an insult. Who knows? Just grabbing all the chests on the way up. Don't really need to fight people if we don't have to. But because last time we tried to do that, we got arrested. Remember that whole fiasco with Yosuke and everything? Well, back in the dungeon again. It'll be nice when we can leave this place behind after tomorrow.
Yikes! Reinforcements! We were nearly done! Throw down! Persona! Yosuke pounded an enemy.
I think at least porting the PSP versions of 1, 2, both versions of 2, or I guess both 2, 1, both the 2 games. Porting those would be nice, at least. Hey Will, how's it going? That game is really rough. Even the PSP version is a bit rough around the edges. Yeah, I remember playing the PSP version. It is a little rough around the edges, not gonna lie. The combat is definitely an acquired taste. I think the biggest thing that rubbed me the wrong way about the combat was just the whole elemental system. Yep, no shuffle time in this version of the game. Or at least not a good version of shuffle time. Or, yeah, I couldn't say that. I do think that the version in Golden is a better version of shuffle time. That's for sure. I think it's a bit too powerful at times, but I do think it's better. I mean, just forget about all the stat stuff. The bonuses you get from shuffle die time can be pretty big. Like if you get an XP or a money boost on a golden hand fight in Persona 4 Golden, you're going up by quite a lot. Which is another thing that's different in P4 vanilla, by the way. Golden hands don't give like a ton of XP. They give a ton of money, but they don't give a ton of XP. But they do give some keys, which is one of your main sources of keys in the game. This also is obviously a parody of Mr. Garrison from South Park. Oh, the puppet dude. Remember the PS1 version made some changes to the setting to make it more Western? Yeah, there's a few games that do that. I remember playing the version, or I remember playing some of the Mega Man games, and like some of the signage got changed to make it more Westernized when they translated to English. Nope, they don't remake P1 into P3 and onwards. Probably not. I think you would have to at least make it a standard RPG. Maybe be something closer to like some of the SMT games than Persona, because you would have like a standard narrative that you're following along, where you wouldn't have like the day system or like social links and stuff. Last time I played P4 Golden, I casually got Megalon on Izanagi thanks to skill card level up. Yeah. That's why I'm doing this challenge run with, yeah, stuff like that is why this challenge run is on P4 and not P4 Golden, because it'd be a little too easy without putting an extra bunch of restrictions. So planning to play / emulate the PSP version of P2 Innocence in the Summer. Nice. Yeah, I think I did that a couple of years ago. I generally enjoyed P1, P2, both P2s. There's also an English patch for the PSP version of Eternal Punishment if you're interested. So, oh yeah, I don't know why. Who knows? I was gonna say that was a little while ago. We were talking about the puppet dude. I was like, I mean, fair play if you just thought of the name of the dude, the South Park guy, like a minute ago. I don't know. It is wild to me. I always forget how like late in the PS2's life cycle that Persona 4 came out, where this came out in like 2008. Because like in my mind, this came out like early 2000s, like 2001, 2002, 2003, something like that. But like no, which I guess I should know because Persona 3 came out in like 2005, 2006 ish. But like, I don't know, 2007 was Halo 3, right? So in my mind, I'm like, oh, we're already on the Xbox 360 PS3 era. But no, it like came out really late into the PS2 era. Yeah, PS3 was already out. Jeez. But yeah, no, there's an English patch for Eternal Punishment. I played through that a couple of years ago now on stream. Yeah, wild times. I mean, technically, you know, at that point, the PS3s probably all had backwards compatibility with the PS2. Yeah, I guess it must have, right? Because PS4 was like 2013, right? And that's right around the time that P5 came out, wasn't it? Was like 2010s-ish. I watched a video, somebody was saying that part of the reason why Atlas never gives release dates ahead of time. Were you guys like stuck in that room this whole time? Okay, that's great. Is because of like how badly P5 went with its initial trailer or like initial like announcement, and like they had kept having to push back the release date for it. Because like that, you know, that chain in 2015. Okay. Yeah, and then I think PS4 was like 2013, 2014, somewhere around there. Wild to think about, but true. I think that's true. I don't know. I do have a decent amount of PS4 games now. to play as well. Not that I've caught up on the PS3 games or anything, or the PS2 games. Getting there though. Doing my best. Yeah. Although one of those PS4 games is technically a version of P5, like P5 Vanilla instead of P5 Royal. So, I have to play that on stream at some point. I don't know if we'll do like a challenge run or that or not. I don't know. Maybe I'll just play that on my own time. It could be kind of nice to just casually go through one of the Persona games at some point. Ah, locked. I don't have any more keys. Oh shoot, it's the Beatles. These things are reflect physical. Were they weak to again? Ice. Okay. Just go ahead and defend Yosuke. And then Chie can like deal with these.
Protect me, Tomoe!
It's down! Good move, Chie-chan!
Yeah, no point in using Babuku if there's not at least 3 enemies.
Down. Good.
All right, gotcha.
Save 3 SP that way.
Give it up.
Alright. Not too bad. The Beatles, yeah. Yeah, the Beatles are a menace. I still can't believe, like, even on hard difficulty, why would you put Reflect Physical on a random enemy type in the first dungeon? It's just wild. And I think apart from Ice, they, like, annul most other magical elements as well. Dang.
One enemy. Caught you off guard.
Oh no, I took 12 damage. And those two took 1. Ah, yes, Pixie's good old endurance stat of 0. Jeez. Oh, I forgot to grab more healing items. Oh well. If it's a problem tomorrow, I guess I can reload the save I have. But I don't think it will be, honestly. We have a Dia on both Pixie and Yosuke. Yeah. I'm not surprised that it happened at some point during this game. It's just like, I'm surprised that it happened like so early in the game, you know? I figured it would happen at some point, just man. First dungeon, one of the first enemies, and it's not even like it's weak to other, like a bunch of other magic. It's only weak to like one type of magic.
One enemy.
Yeah.
It's not.
The tables are kind of ass in every single one of these games, let's be honest. Or at least P3 and P4. Versions of the tables are always kind of ass. Oh, hey, nice, sweet Tahama. Hey, level 9, nice. I will take more magic, yes. Yes, please. Magic increased by 2 to 12. Not bad, not bad. Nah, it doesn't. It made Fizz a lot better in this game compared to P3. Especially in P4, but like, especially in P4 Golden, since with the, you know, skill evolution, you can get like God's Hand like pretty easily by the 4th dungeon, so, which is like the best way to, which is like one of the best physical skills in the game. So yeah, because Fizz skills have like a direct upgrade path, so they get upgraded pretty quickly. To be fair, like they do put limits on it where you can't upgrade past a certain rank depending on which dungeon you're in, but it's not too much of like a stopgap on it, to be honest. I know. Yeah, like I said, Persona 4 Golden is like, shuffle time is very good. As like a concept, like as a mini game, it's pretty good, but like in terms of balancing, it's like really not. Shoot. For me, it's like 4:34 p.m. So the afternoon, evening.
Don't cry. Throw down. Persona. Damn, it's not going down. 3 enemies. Let's get
Yeah.
through this.
Again, it's part of the difficulty. I think if you play this on normal, it doesn't have the reflect physical enemies on the first dungeon. It's just on like
That's one.
the harder difficulty that it has that.
Ice wall.
Which, you know, it's still a choice. Yeah, like for example, these guys don't resist ice; they absorb ice. You know, it's just like that kind of stuff. Okay. Yeah, I mean tomorrow's stream will be earlier. Today I'm just trying to level up Pixie a little bit for tomorrow, since we died like 6 times to Shadow Yukiko last weekend, so I wanted to level up Pixie some before we tried to fight her again tomorrow.
Someone else's turn.
But I figured I'd stream the process since it's a challenge run. Got to keep track of deaths and all that, so.
Woohoo! Chie-chan. That's one.
Yeah, I just haven't bothered upgrading the MC's weapon yet, because I'd rather spend the money on other things. And Pixie's not known for its like high strength stat. It can't even get strength kills, so
Don't give up, Yosuke.
yeah.
You're gonna pay.
Yeah,
kid.
Shadow Yukiko is fairly difficult compared to her Persona 4 Golden version, but like it's worse for me because Pixie is weak to fire, and I have literally no way of getting resist fire on Pixie for the time being, so like even if I keep leveling up, I don't have a way of doing it, so unless I got into like the 30s or something, and then I got a growth skill, and then I somehow fuse that onto something with a resist fire skill, but like I feel like at level 30 we'd like bulldoze through before that. Yeah. Even like trying to get like resist fire on Jack Frost, because there's a fusion forecast at the first of next month in game that gives Jack Frost resist fire, which can be directly fused onto Pixie with Ouroboros and Jack Frost turning into Pixie, but that's the first of next month. The deadline is the 29th of this month. There's literally like it's not available until after the current deadline, so
One enemy. Fight, fight, fight. Counting on you. Persona. 3 more enemies. Grin and bear it.
grin and bear it. All right. What have we not tried on you guys? We haven't tried light and dark. Might as well try it.
Persona.
Don't want to use up SP too much, but okay.
3 enemies left.
Doesn't mean that they're not weak to it, but
Don't use
worth a
ice
try
attacks.
at least.
Just stick with it.
they're probably not weak to it though. Yeah, at some point we'll try and get to that, but like it's gonna be a while. If I could at least cover the weakness, it'd be nice. It's just a shame that we can't cover the weakness yet,
2 more to go.
and the current like first boss uses it a lot. Yeah,
This isn't good.
we just got kind of unlucky on that roll, on like what Pixie's weak to.
Sensei's back on his feet.
How much magic does Pixie have again? Right now she has 12, so she does pretty well at magic attacks when she actually does attack.
That's some thick skin.
Ow, shish, that hurts.
Yeah, it's enough for magic damage. I'm just trying to conserve SP. That's one thing I'm trying to do while we're climbing up is conserving SP, because I still gotta do the boss fight after this. I'm just trying to grab all the chests, because there might be like an SP restoring item or something else good in one of them. More of those physical reflecting mirrors for the boss that shows up in this dungeon after we beat the Shadow Yukiko boss.
Enemy left.
Stuff like that.
Throw down. Persona.
Or, you know, physical mirrors are always good. You know, there's other bosses that'll be useful for, so. The other thing is I forgot to buy more healing items, unfortunately. Does P4 have EXP boost fusion? Yeah, it does. Yep. But even if I wanted to do that to get like resist fire on a persona, because the persona doesn't learn like resist fire inherently, you have to level it up, but we can't without growth. So for example, we have to level up the Sun Social Link so we can get growth 1 by leveling up one of the personas. So I think it's the dog one. I'm trying to remember. It's like a wind spirit dog kind of thing. So yeah, well, you don't have like full moon fusion, but you do like get the bonus XP from like social links. That's also why Yosuke is so important compared to the other party members, is because of that. So all right. Oh boy. So yeah, this is where Pixie ended up after all that. Level 9. We could try and level her up again, but I don't want to waste SP on this because we have to do the boss fight. So yeah. Not Yada. Yada is growth too. I think that is a Sun persona though. It's like I can find it real quick. Let me see here. So growth 1. Yeah, Q Sith. Q Sith. That's what I'm thinking of. That's that like dog thing, right? The green dog. It's a level 10 persona, so I could already make it, but it gets growth at level 11. So if I just start the Sun Social Link, I should be able to make this, and then I can start passing growth 1 around to things I want to get skills off of. And then like later growth 2 as well, probably, because growth skills stack, so it'll probably be worth stacking them, since that's the only way we're gonna be able to get on XP on anything besides Pixie. Yeah, and then growth 2 is at level 31. Another Sun persona gets at level 33. So Sun will be important to level up for that. I think Sun is Saki's little brother, if I remember correctly. Persona 4 Sun Social Link. No, it's the band / art Social Link or whatever, which is available. When is that available? I think I have this written down actually. Yeah, on 4/25, so in less than a week. Yeah, because we're on 4/20 right now, so it first becomes available on 4/25. So I guess if we wanted to, I guess if it doesn't work out tomorrow to beat Yukiko, like if Shadow Yukiko, if we just can't beat Shadow Yukiko without covering Pixie's weakness, the one thing we could do is we could reload a save before we came into the dungeon today, hang out with Yosuke, kill a couple of days, just like hanging out with people till we get to till we get to the 25th, start the Sun Social Link, come back into the dungeon, fuse growth 1 onto, I think it was Okabak or something, the like little fire imp with a spoon, and then level him up once. He gets resist fire, and then we somehow pass that on to Pixie, and then level up Pixie to at least like level 5 or 6, and then we could probably beat Shadow Yukiko at that point with that strategy. But like, I don't know, that's a lot to do. it would be, well, it's definitely something we're gonna have to do at some point, is like once we get the Sun Social Link, we'll want to grab Growth 1 and fuse it on to that guy so we can get Resist Fire and fuse it on to Pixie. But it's like, or we could just wait until like Jack Frost would get it naturally and just like make a Jack Frost with it, you know? Like if we would rather hang out with like one of the party members than the Sun Social Link or something. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of interesting decisions to be made. Let me just double check that I saved. So I think I did, but yes, I think this is the save I just saved. Let me just save over the save I just saved on. But anyway. Yeah, that's going to be all for today, guys. Just kind of a shorter stream here. Just wanted to get that done. We might do other streams like this that are a bit longer, where I have to, like, you know, level up something to, like, get a certain skill on Pixie. Like, if there's a, I don't know. Because, like, what's the next boss, right, is Kanji? I think Kanji is the next party member, right? So maybe, like, getting Resist Electric or something onto Pixie, so we'd have to, like, level up something with Growth 1 or whatever, like I was talking about. But yeah, that's all for today. I'll go ahead and make the, here, you know what, well, I'm thinking about it, let me do that right now. Make the other two streams real quick, make those public. Ooh, that's interesting. Sorry, I'm just seeing a thumbnail from Deuce that has, like, Nocturne on it. Demi Fiend on it says, these are the hardest bosses in the game. I made them even harder. That's a good thumbnail. I'm clicking on that for later, but okay. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by YouTube thumbnails, but let me just go ahead and make the next two YouTube streams public real quick. But yeah, those will be tomorrow and Sunday. Tomorrow we'll beat Shadow Yukiko, and then Sunday I guess we'll hang out with people. Maybe we'll see Kanji for the first time. We'll see how far we get. Be able to finally hang out with people. Be nice. But yeah, thanks guys so much for hanging out. Will, Lorenzo, Alex, Christian, Craftador, Jeppo, anybody lurking or watching back on the VOD, anybody else I mentioned, Nash, Copus. Hope you guys are all doing well. I'll hopefully see you guys tomorrow in, like, what's that? 12 plus 3, so like 15 hours or so. Yeah, another 15 hours. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. I hope you're all having a good one. Hey, if it's not the weekend yet, it's almost the weekend. It's Friday, so I hope your days are, your weeks are all went well, and weekend's almost here. So yeah, I'll hopefully see you guys soon. But in case I don't see ya, I hope you guys have a good afternoon, good evening, good night. See you guys.
Chef shifter.